When something snarls and charges at us, our reaction is immediate and instinctual. We run or we fight. Our biological wiring and psychological defense mechanisms are calibrated to handle overt hostility. Adrenaline spikes, focus narrows, and we instinctively raise our shields. But our internal alarm system has a significant blind spot. When a threat presents itself as a helpless victim needing a small favor, those alarms often remain silent. We experience this response as compassion. However, a manipulator sees it as a psychological exploit, a way to bypass our defenses by appealing to our better nature. Predators bypass our external defenses by convincing us to voluntarily lower our own shields and invite them inside. Imagine a hunter surviving a freezing night. He has secured his perimeter, relying on the warmth of a central fire and the physical reach of his rifle to maintain a safe distance from the darkness. Out at the absolute furthest edge of his vision, a wolf appears. It isn't growling or stalking, it's shivering and limping. In that moment, the hunter makes a mental shift. He looks at an apex predator and sees a subject of pity rather than a threat. This diagram maps out the hunter's safe zone. The hunter beckons the shivering wolf slightly closer to the fire, marking his first voluntary surrender of spatial advantage. The wolf immediately lies down in total submission, reinforcing the hunter's illusion of absolute control. Over the next 30 minutes, the wolf executes a strategy of incremental encroachment. The animal doesn't make any sudden moves. It simply inches forward, bit by bit. Each micro-movement is too small to trigger the hunter's threat reflex or cause him to reach for his weapon. This line graph plots the shrinking physical distance between the wolf and the hunter. With every passing minute, the margin of safety evaporates. Eventually, the wolf slides right to the hunter's feet, successfully bypassing the minimum effective range of his rifle. The exact millisecond the geographical advantage is fully erased, and the distance between safety and destruction reaches absolute zero, the wolf finally strikes. Patience allows a predator to wait until the distance to their target is zero, rendering any weapon or defense useless. In daily life, this dynamic plays out through toxic interpersonal relationships and manipulative individuals. Human manipulators trade a temporary performance of helplessness in exchange for permanent access to a victim's trust and resources. Their boundary erosion relies on microtransgressions, showing up uninvited or asking for slightly more than what was agreed upon. Individually, these actions feel too small to confront. These micro-violations are difficult to identify or confront in the moment, allowing them to quietly become the new baseline for the relationship. Unlike a sudden attack that triggers an immediate response, this slow erosion makes the resulting damage difficult to untangle once it is finally noticed. A primary warning sign is a relationship where constant exceptions are requested, slowly compounding until they replace the original rules. Consistently trading boundaries for social comfort ensures that your environment is eventually governed by the needs of others rather than your own. Counteracting this incremental encroachment requires an active strategy, absolute perimeter defense. Enforcing hard boundaries is difficult when the individual you are pushing away is presenting themselves as a victim in need. This requires drawing an uncompromising line, stating clearly what is and what is not allowed, and maintaining the resolve to let the threat remain on the other side of that line. Maintaining these boundaries is a baseline requirement for survival, regardless of whether the person crossing them is acting out of malice or desperation. Protecting your well-being requires a sustained commitment to watching the perimeter and deciding who is allowed close to the fire.